Alrighty guys, welcome back to another Age of Empires 3 video with me, BTM. As usual, and as per request, I'm going to be doing a deck walkthrough with the French civilization to explore some rush options with them. So if you want to skip directly to the action, I will post a link in the description to the time that the action starts. That way you guys do not have to watch this if you do not want to. So with that said, let's dive right into building our deck and seeing what we can do with the French. Now, I have several French strategies, and I guess before I go through each of the French card options, what I'd like to do is just kind of talk about my two favorite French strategies. My obvious French strategy, and the one I've put out the videos of, is a double barracks rush, where you get a barracks or two, preferably up in the second age, and then you pump out crossbowmen and pikemen as needed, and you just pressure them all the way to victory. It's a really strong strategy because you have options such as your 4 Courrier de Bois, your 700 gold if you want to push to the next age and such, and they're both very good, solid, easy to use strategies. They work well. The second French strategy that's really good that I haven't unfortunately been able to post a video of, even though I've really wanted to, is the Hussar Rush. I named my deck for it Rush Hush. The strategy behind that simply is keep making Hussar, send some Hussar upgrade cards, use your really strong French economy to catapult it. This strategy works really well in team games, team rush games. It's a very strong strategy to use in general, but in one-on-one, which is what I've been playing mostly, it can be kind of tricky because a straight-up cavalry rush, while very effective, can be beaten if they just start amassing units that are anti-cavalry, such as musketeers or janissaries or pikemen, and oftentimes it's not super difficult to do that in a one-on-one game, especially if they're expecting you to come with cavalry. So that's kind of why I haven't been able to get a video of that out. But I do know that the Nation of Warriors channel has a very good version of that strategy out there if you want to go check that out. I probably won't post a link to it, but that's out there and around. I will make a video of my own version of that soon, but it's very circumstantial to get that. So right off the bat, let's just go through all the different card options we can possibly have. The French don't have as many villager options as some civilizations do. They don't have a 5 villager card or a 5 Courrier de Bois card. They have a 2, a 4, a 3, and a 10. You're going to definitely want to put the 3 and the 4 in your deck right away. Those are pretty much the first cards you would put in your deck under any circumstances. Courrier de Bois, the gather fast, are amazing. Under no circumstances should you not have 3 Courrier de Bois be your first shipment. It's a simply phenomenal card. They're like 3 villagers, but even better, they gather faster. From there on out, though, you have a little bit of leeway. I generally like to put in all these 700 wood crates. I'm going to take out the 600 gold, by the way, but I like to... Did I say 700 wood crates? I like to put in all the 700 resource crates for French, and the reason why is because their military academy second age is not the strongest in the world, but I do like to put in all 700 resource crates because French already have a very strong economy. This gives you more to play with, get more pumping out. I also tend to put in 300 wood and 300 food. However, we'll probably change that a little bit. And the other card I really like from the New World Trading Company is obviously I like putting in that trade post because I like, or trade post, that trading center, pardon me. I like plopping it down right near the enemy's town and gaining some map control by having it, and it kind of allows me to expand my sphere of influence on the map a little bit. Other New World trading cards, I don't really like using the balloons, and I never really feel like using the Team 2 Surgeons, and the reason why I don't feel like using those is because I don't really do much mercenary rushes with the French, although I do believe the French actually have a pretty good range of mercenary rushes available. So if you want to make a mercenary rush deck, I would definitely say send the Team 2 Surgeons, send the Master Surgeons if you'd like. Excellent card choices if you're going to do that. I probably should make a deck for that, and I'll probably do that off camera actually. So, but for this deck, my General Rush deck or my Hussar Rush deck, I don't really need to have that card in there. So that's what's going on from the New World Trading Academy. Now, under Military Academy, French are a little bit interesting. They have a ton of military unit choices, but not that many in the second age. In fact, I believe they only have 2 that you can send in the second age, that being an 8 crossbowmen card and a 3 Hussar card, and that automatically puts you in a little bit of a sticky situation because you cannot send 5 or 6 shipments of military units from your home city. You're actually going to have to make them. So what that means is your second and third age is actually going to be a very important time for you in order to get your military units out. Or, I'm sorry, your third age is going to be a very important time for you to get your military units out, whereas the second is going to be very important to have kind of a stronger economy, if you understand what I mean by that. So for any French strategy, you're going to want the 8 crossbowmen and the 3 Hussar in there, and there's not a huge amount of military units that you have to have in there from that point onward with French. Now, generally, I like to put in the 2 cannon card or 2 falconets for the third age. I like to have the 3 cuirassiers. I don't know how to say that word. I'm not French. I'm sorry, guys. 3 cuirassier card, though. I like that. And I also like having the 8 skirmishers card in there. And I generally also put in 10 mercenaries, but that comes from the harbor, so I probably shouldn't mention that. Now, in terms of upgrades, so this is where it gets a little bit tricky. If you're going to go with Hussar Rush, you're definitely going to want this Team Hand Cavalry attack, which if you look here, you can see I have the Team Hand Cavalry attack in there. You're going to want the Hand Cavalry Hit Points card in there. You're going to want the Cavalry Combat card in there for the 3rd age. The French have 3 excellent Cavalry upgrade cards, and you definitely should utilize them for sure. Now, let's see. We're going to throw in probably that, and I think let's also throw in, take out you. 3 Dragoons. Okay. And I actually, for my Hussar Rush card, you may notice I put in some Dragoon. I put in some Dragoons in my deck, actually, because if I'm sending all these Hussar upgrades or Cavalry upgrades, it'll make sense to have some Dragoons in there to take advantage of them as well. But in general, what you're going to want to do, after you get your initial 2 military cards in there, you're going to want to figure out what units do I want to make. In this case, for this particular deck, you notice I got my Team Early Skirmishers card in there, since I'm going with the skirms. You're going to want to have your basic military units, some upgrades, and then whatever good 3rd age shipments you're going to want to back you up. Falconets, great choice. 3 cuirassiers, great choice. 8 skirmishers, great choice. From that on out, it's really just a matter of personal choice what you like to play with. I love sending cannons, and I love using those 3 heavy monstrous cavalry. Now, when you get to the cathedral, here's where we actually have a lot of options. You may notice that both of my rush decks do not have the factories in them long term, which is kind of a little bit of a risky proposition, but I've actually only had 1 game out of maybe 20 where I've gotten into the 4th age and I've thought, damn, I need a factory. And because I haven't gotten to that point in the game a lot lately, I just haven't decided to put in there. Now, I tend to be a very defensive player, or at least liking to have a very strong position. I guess that's just my chess side of me. So you may notice I do keep the frontier defenses in both of my decks, I believe. No, actually, I don't. I don't put that in my Hussar deck. But I do put the frontier defenses in my generic rush deck. I really like that, and I do put a fort in this card. And the reason why is because the French use Courrier de Bois, and they can definitely have a little bit of a smaller economy rather than having to sprawl over the map. I find that having these allows me to really kind of take map control better, and I like using them. Now, other cards you're obviously going to want is you're going to want Fencing School, you're going to want Riding School, you're probably also going to want Engineering School. Maybe, I guess, if you're going to use some kind of Grenadier strategy, but I don't really recommend it with France, and I haven't really seen French use it. I don't even know if French can make Grenadiers. I think they actually have to send them from their church with their church improvements, so I don't recommend that. Outside of that, French actually have a lot of great native cards, and actually I need to do this. This is one card you should definitely have in your deck if you're going to be using a generic crossbowmen pikemen rush, and it's called Wilderness Welfare, and it increases skirmisher hit points by 20% and Courrier de Bois hit points. It makes your already durable villagers that can double as soldiers even more durable, and it makes your skirmishers better. Now, the French actually have a ton of native options. I'm going to try to get you a native game here, probably in the next few matches, just like with the Hussar. And the reason why is French have free improvements, they have free soldiers, they have less expensive, they have their attack increased, they have upgrades, and they have cheaper trading posts, advanced trading posts, which actually is a great card. And I think I'm going to take out 300 food and put in the advanced trading post card. In general, that's just a fantabulous card to have, no matter what the deck you use or what the situation is. I do like keeping 300 wood in there, though. So that's a great card. Other card choices from the Notre Dame Cathedral. I guess you can make an argument possibly for Team Native Warrior attack increased if you're going with a native deck. Riding School we've already discovered. Nothing else I really like and stand out here in terms of a rush game. I like to have things that are usable. The native tree, very usable if you're going to focus on natives, but that's very map specific. The fort and the outpost I like. Factories, you should definitely throw them in long term if you're into that sort of thing. I'm not into that for this game. Now, if you go to the manufacturing plant, here's where things get a little bit interesting. We all know the French because they have an amazing fur trade, but they also actually have all the other upgrade cards you could want to. They have a Furrier, which you should always have in your deck. They have Spice Trade, which is an excellent card. They have Silversmiths. They have wood upgrades. They have Economic Theory. They have a trickle of food. They have a trickle of wood. They have wood upgrades. They have shipping or fishing cards if you're interested into that. There's a lot of different options you can go. I generally kind of throw in the economic cards as spice, though, on top of the other strategy I'm using. So if I'm going to go with like this deck, where I'm going with a crossbowmen, pikemen rush, I'm going to throw in all my crossbowmen, pikemen cards, all my resources, all my Courrier de Bois, whatever upgrades I want, and then from there I'll add on top any of these. And you may notice I threw in Furrier, Economic Theory, Refrigeration, and Royal Mint, and you can change that as you want. It might not be a bad idea actually long term, because this does focus on wood, and having a wood upgrade card like exotic hardwoods thrown in there. Probably not sawmills ever, because exotic hardwoods is pretty much twice as good and you don't really need 2 wood upgrade cards. So I could probably throw in that, but I don't really feel it for this particular deck. Actually, I do feel it. It doesn't make sense to have Royal Mint if I'm not really focusing on gathering coin with this deck, I guess, long term. So having exotic hardwoods is a good card choice. Spice Trade, also a great card choice, except my second age is already filled up, so no point to use that there. And that's kind of what you do. The manufacturing plant, just figure out what resources you're going to want to gather faster and fill accordingly to whatever space you have empty left over. Now, in terms of harbor, kind of view harbor almost as a base strategy point, if that makes sense. What I mean is, it's one of those places, if you're going with a sea strategy or a mercenary strategy, you're going to come here first and get your Swiss pikemen and your Langshalot, Langshanit mercenaries, your Huron allies, whatever cards you're going to send them, you're going to put them in your deck first. So it's kind of a base starting point from whatever deck you're trying to build. So that's kind of how I build a deck in general. All around pretty good. I haven't been able to get a mercenary rush with the French out, and I haven't gotten a good sea game yet, although this map probably would have been a good match to have some water action on. And we haven't done a Hussar rush. So I'll definitely get those 3 matches out, hopefully, before we move on from the French. But that's how you build a French deck. And again, in general, your rule for building a deck always is, what do you want your deck to do for you? And you got to remember here, your deck is taking your good strategy and making it better. So you should have no superfluous cards. You should have a deck that makes your strategy and takes it to the next level. And I feel like my Rush deck, actually, with France, especially with these changes I made, is really, really good. My Hussar deck, I probably should go back over, but I'll do that off camera. Although I may notice I have the 600 coin there too. That's because I am making Hussar, so I'm going to need more gold than normal. So all around, that's how the decks work. Let me actually save this so I don't lose my hard work there. And now let's get to the match. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. BTM here, bringing you one-on-one on Hispaniola. I'm playing French. I'm facing an Ottoman. We are on a water map where we start off with extra resources, and this is going to be a fast-paced, action-packed game because we are going to expect him to go with a Janissary rush. And didn't we just play this in the last video? It's been a week or two, guys. I'm so sorry. I don't even remember what the last video was. My life has been crazy. Anyway, I feel like this is very, very familiar. So we obviously know what he's going to do. We obviously know what I'm going to do. This is kind of my, let's get back into the swing of things match here. We're going to start getting content coming out regularly again. Anyway, so we know he's going to do what he's going to do. We're going to do what we're going to do. Now, right off the bat, we do notice we start off with a good herd of turkeys by us, which is great. We start off with some berry bushes, and we start off with, I'm guessing, a gold or a copper mine. We also start off with 3 treasures near us. So all around, we're in a very, very good spot to be in. We are going to age up with 13 or probably 12 villagers. We're going to actually age up with a little bit less than normal. 1, obviously, because we're facing an Ottoman and we expect him to rush us fast. 2, because we're facing an Ottoman on a water map and we're expecting him to go with a water strategy, which means we're going to have to rush him extra fast and extra hard if we intend to beat him. And, of course, I intend to beat him. I intend to beat everybody I play. Now, unfortunately, you may notice here that I played this game before I changed the deck, but I narrated this after I changed the deck. So I know that I have changed the deck. However, the person of me playing this game does not know that I changed the deck, so I'm still using the old deck, even though I probably made a better deck in the deck walkthrough, or I know I made a better deck in the deck walkthrough, and I even said in the deck walkthrough I should have made a water deck, and if I had a water deck, I would have used the water deck on this map. Unfortunately, no water deck from me. So, all around, just a normal, average, standard French match. My apologies if it gets repetitious, perhaps. If that's a vocabulary word that actually makes sense. If not, whatever. We're going to get to more interesting stuff soon, I promise. Now, right off the bat, because I start off with so much extra wood and gold, I build a market. That's right, guys. Can you believe that? I built a market. And wait. Okay, I'm going to send my 3-quarter de bois and watch it. I'm going to select my age. And are you watching? Okay, 1 second. It's coming soon. It's coming soon. Hold on, guys. 1 more second, I promise. Just 1 more. Just hold on. Just a little bit longer. Look at that. I bought market upgrades. 2 minutes, 16 seconds into the game. I am aging steadily into the colonial age with 9 villagers, 3-quarter de bois on their way, and I have market upgrades. What a great and novel video this is. I have actually done what you guys have asked me to do in every video. You say, BTM, such a big noob, LOLOL, doesn't build market. Well, look at that, guys. That is why this video is being uploaded. I built a market like a boss 2 minutes into the game. So, take that, haters. I built a market. Okay, market building shenanigans aside, things are going well. We split our villagers up while aging like normal. Nothing dramatically exciting happening thus far. We've kind of actually focused on scouting our side of the map, and the reason why is Hispaniola looks like a giant backwards C on the map, if that makes sense, like the letter C. So we know that he's going to be basically mirrored on the bottom of the map with a little bit of island extending to his left, just like it is to my left, with the right side being around half. And because we know this, I didn't really feel super compelled to go scout him out. I wanted to figure out what resources I had first. Now you may notice there, I used a villager with a house so I could see how far I could build ahead, and I put my Wichita scout into stealth mode because I want to be able to scout him out without him seeing me. And my Courrier de Bois is walking down perfectly. There's the wood and there's the barracks being built. The timing here actually is working out phenomenally well for me making up as I go along, at least. Well, I'm not completely making up as I go along, but it's going pretty well for the amount of just how I'm trying to do it however I can. It is going, I guess, if that makes any sense whatsoever. Now we're going to kind of scout out his town center here, see what's going on. Like I said, or like I mentioned in the previous video, and then I refuse to say again here, we're obviously expecting a Janissary rush or a fast fortress. We don't really see much else from Ottomans, unfortunately. Now I'm going to send the 8 crossbowmen, even though I originally didn't want to, and then I see he's building a dock. What? Not a dock, I'm sorry. He's building a stable? What? Who built a stable as Ottoman? This guy's actually trying something new out of the bag, and I really like it. I, of course, am not trying something new out of the bag. I'm doing my same old strategy. So I assume up there, of course, he's building a stable and a barracks, but he's building a stable and artillery foundry, which tells me right off the bat he's going with an Abyss Gun Hussar combo, which is a great combo unless you have melee units, because Abyss Gun or Grenadiers, whichever unit he's making from the artillery foundry, they don't do so well against siege units. So off the bat, we're not in a huge amount of trouble. And I said off the bat again, guys. I recommend guys making a drinking game. Every time I say off the bat, take a sip, and I guarantee these videos will be a lot better in quality once you're hammered. Okay, but seriously, moving on with the game action here. We have 10 villagers on food, 4 on wood. Not a great split, but we're kind of low on food. Now he here has made his first batch of Hussar out. I've gone with Musketeers. I put those Musketeers in melee mode, and my next batch of units I'm going to make are going to be pikemen. You might wonder why I made Musketeers off the bat. Remember, I didn't actually highlight it, so if you're paying close attention to watching the video, you may see that I did gather that 200 wood treasure, which did a fantastic job. 200 wood, I'm sorry, 120 gold. What am I even talking about here? I did gather that 120 gold treasure, which allowed me to make a batch of Musketeers. And here you may notice he made Grenadiers, so obviously he's going with some Grenadier rush. However, I'm able to get melee units in right off the bat. Grenadiers only have an 8 hand attack, so it's really a bad spot to be as a Grenadier if you're having to fight with a hand attack instead of your ranged siege damage. And now we're going to get a takedown, or at least attempt to take down that artillery foundry. And this is a very bad spot to be in for him, because our artillery foundry is 300 wood, and that's a huge amount of wood to lose in an investment this early, especially since his stable's right nearby, so it's not like he can make stable units that are then going to beat my mass of pikemen that are burning it down. So it kind of puts him in a rock and a hard place to begin with. He starts to run away. I unfortunately looked away, as I normally do when I'm in combat, and I pull all my units back though because I don't want to lose any, and I'm going to start making crossbowmen to back up my pikemen at this point. And the reason I'm doing that is because it's very obvious that he's making a barracks in his town now. In fact, I think that's the only smart thing he can do in order to protect himself and keep himself from losing the game. So he's going to have Janissaries coming from his town, so we're going to want to immediately start backing up our amount of crossbowmen with our amount of pikemen with some crossbowmen. Guys, I am so sorry. Although the strategy is so simple too. If you think about it, I'm making 2 units. I have 2 units I have to remember to say right in an order, and I'm not doing it well. So my apologies. It's early in the morning though, I guess relatively. Now my next card here is going to be my 2 outpost tower, and my plan for, or my reason for sending that is there's a lot of pressure on that little like peninsula-y thingy we're fighting over. And so I figure if I can get my 2 outposts there, I'm going to put him in absolute world of trouble. It's going to cut him off. It's going to really allow me to solidify my position here. It looks like I'm going to be able to beat this battle. However, his units are generally more expensive and more powerful. So he's definitely killed more of my units than I've killed his, even though I've kind of been winning the war, I guess, overall. As you can see here, we kind of won this battle, but we lost a huge amount of units to do so. But again, Ottomans have very, very strong units. So we're not really too surprised, I guess, that that's what happened. Our resource economy shift's actually not the greatest in the world at this point, believe it or not. We kind of have too many people on wood, 13 on wood to 10 on food. Probably should have shifted that up a little bit more. If I was planning to fish boom at this point, it would have been a great choice, but I wasn't, so I kind of messed up. Now, he sends some Minutemen, and I walk away because I just want to let the Minutemen die. And I'm not too concerned about that stable long run. And as I'm walking my outpost, I notice that he starts attacking one with his Hussar. So I'm actually going to send one to go back and die. I'm going to sneak one right here to build immediately where I've sent my army around. And that's actually something a person in the comments told me that was so right. And I love you guys when you guys say things like this. I asked in the video, oh, LOL, why was that guy a noob or something like that, saying, oh, he let his unit die. I don't know why he did that. And I realized looking back on it, but somebody also told me in the comments, so thank you, person who told me, you're very, very smart. He said, well, if you let that one unit die, you can protect the rest of them. And that was absolutely correct. That was why he made that gameplay choice. It was the right gameplay choice for him in that situation to make. So, bonus points to you, sir, for being very, very smart. That's what he did. And I did the same thing there with that one outpost wagon. I let one die for sure, but the other one now is standing there. And it's putting blue in a lot of trouble in terms of trying to win this game. So, all around, we're going to kind of get our military a little bit more beefed up, I guess. He's only got 2 Hussar attacking me, which isn't a huge threat, and I know he's just trying to distract me. So I'm going to let him distract me while I continue to mass units here. So as long as I keep up military production, I don't think it's a huge matter of trouble that he's distracting me. In fact, it might even be more trouble for him, because he's going to lose those 2 Hussar. He's going to think about what to do with those 2 Hussar, whereas I can just mindlessly tell my units to keep making... I can tell my barrack to keep making units down at the bottom of the map. So all around, it puts me in a much better spot than he's in, I felt, at least, letting him do his wicked and evil ways. Now, I am, of course, keep making crossmen, because at this point, I assume he's making Janissaries. I mean, that's got to be the only logical and smart thing he can do, maybe? That was my thought, at least. Who knows? And his second Hussar is going to die here, so all around, we're back in the driver's seat. We're going to get all 8 Courrier de Bois out on the map. And we do have a shipment that I have not sent. We're about to have 2 shipments available, actually, so I probably should get to sending those pretty soon. I mean, I did do a deck walkthrough earlier in the video, so I really should act like I care about using my deck. And there's another shipment available. I didn't get to it right away. That's something I got to work on, maximizing my shipment efficiency usage. Words, big words, guys. I'm using them. All right, sorry. No, I should definitely max out using my efficiency. I should be more efficient using my shipments. There we go. That was the sentence I was trying to say this entire time. I go straight for his town center here, and I know I didn't see any military units protecting it. I have a lot of pikemen, so I figured, you know what, I can take it out. I got more crossbowmen coming. I'll send some more pikemen now to back them up. Now, here's what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to let my pikemen destroy the town center. I'm going to use my crossbowmen to provide some covering fire. He then got some Janissaries walking in here. Too little, too late, though, to really save him. My crossbowmen will continue to shoot at him, and those Janissaries, while the pikemen continue to do their thing. All around, very, very good spot to be in. I should probably have been making villagers the entire time from my town center. Not an amazing job, but we did manage to keep up with housing this game, and we got market upgrades. So in terms of overall gameplay value, guys, this video is clearly a doozy. Clearly a doozy there. His town center is going to fall now, though, and there's not much more he can do. In fact, I kind of figured at this point, this guy's got to be fish booming if he's still going to keep playing this on. He scores 71, which isn't that awful, but for not having a town center, that's pretty awful, I'm not going to lie. So I was kind of surprised that he had it resigned at this point. I mean, you got no town center, dog. But we'll let him keep playing out. We'll send in more gold, which actually won't be there in the next shipment. In the next video. I play with French because I got rid of it. And here I look to go see his deck. Is he got fish cards, but he doesn't. He's got a pretty standard Ottoman deck. So I don't know what he's going on, and he chooses to resign here. So all around, it was a good, quick, fun match to get back into it. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'm going to cruise through the post game, but instead of actually paying attention to the post game stats, I have a few things I want to say. First off, my biggest and deepest heartfelt apologies for not being around for the last few weeks. Life has been crazy, things happen, but I'm back and I want to keep this up and I want to stay steady. I want to be consistent. We're going to make that happen, guys. So don't worry about that. That's coming. I will be here. We're going to get lots more awesome content out. I love this channel. You guys are my passion, and we're not going to let that slip away. Second off, I'm going to get a few more French videos out with different French strategies because I'm very intrigued by trying all of them. And I do have your request list. I haven't had time to get to them because I haven't had time to scout. I haven't had time to play video games really for fun on my own that much lately. So if I don't have time to play on my own, then I don't have time to try out new strategies, which means I don't have time to turn it into content. You guys get how it works. So my apologies there for that. So all around, just to let you know, I'm back. We're going to get things going again. Thank you guys so very much for watching. I love you all. And now we're going to get to our quote of the day from The Art of War. Therefore, the clever combatant imposes his will on the enemy, but does not allow the enemy's will to be imposed on him. Sun Tzu.